And if you fast forward to about 1890, we added another concept over the top of that, that some of those lands would be held in reserve for conservation purposes. Very key concept, never been done in the world. That was invented here. That's an American concept. If you take that one step further, and this is a part that's really, really important to me, and into the 1930s, and think about what was going on. This was the Dust Bowl era. We added to that concept that we wanted an agency, and it was the grazing service that was created then, to work with communities on conservation issues. Now, along that entire history that I just talked about, you find the ancestors of the Bureau of Land Management. The General Land Office came in 1812, and the Grazing Service came in the 1930s, during that Dust Bowl era, to solve some of those problems. Those two entities were combined in 1946 to create the modern day Bureau of Land Management, the successor to the General Land Office. So the reason I tell that story is not just for purposes of a history lesson, but to talk about the American concept of conservation and how it is so intrinsically tied to who we are as a people. And at the base of it, and I go back to that grazing service and the initiation of this concept, that the solutions to conservation problems are found in community dialogue. We, starting in the 1930s, had advisory boards and advisory councils, and we now have the resource advisory councils. We've always had this in the Bureau of Land Management as part of our makeup. And it responds directly to that concept that we as Americans think that we should solve resource problems and questions as a community of people, that we should bring all the interests into a room and we should figure it out. And that's why it isn't pretty. With everybody in the room, we're bound to have at least a few different ideas, and that's a good thing.